Welcome to Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Meghan Payton, and the Seahawks are off to a great start. They're going into this week 2 game with a win in their pocket. If you guys think they're going to come out 2-0, hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds. That's all we're asking. And later in this video, we are going to break down the keys to victory for the Seattle Seahawks versus the Tennessee Titans. In this week 2 matchup, the Seattle Seahawks will be hosting the Tennessee Titans. This is their home opener. And guys, this game's going to be crazy. Seattle fans are back in the stadium. And fun fact, Pete Carroll has never lost a home opener game. That's 11 straight wins each year. And I know that's kind of one of those crazy statistics, but to me, that's a streak that is so impressive. I bet he thinks about that. So he's looking to get his 12th home opener win in this game here. And right now he's got pretty good odds. The Seahawks are favorites at 5.5. The over-under is set at 53. It's going to be a high-scoring game, I think. And I'm going to get into a little bit of my predictions later on in the video. But right now, I want to know, what do you guys think is going to happen? Predict the score right now in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. We are going to get into, though, the 5 key things the Seattle Seahawks need to do in order to beat the Tennessee Titans. The first one is, don't get too confident. And I know that's like an overly generalized, kind of overstated topic, but to me, this is so important for what's happening or what happened in week 1. The Seahawks are feeling good. They came away with a great win, and the Titans are feeling terrible. They did so bad. They lost to this Cardinals 38-13. It was not what they hoped for. Tannehill did not look good. Derrick Henry didn't look good. Their offensive line looked terrible. Their offensive line looked so bad that Taylor Lewin took to Twitter. He said, "I got my ass kicked today. No way around that. I let the team and fans down. Thank you, Chandler Jones, for exposing me. It will only force me to get better." That's a really humbling statement. So when I say to you guys, the Titans are upset, they are looking for a rebound. They want to win. So they're going to come in hot, and the Seahawks need to be prepared for this. You have to remember, yes, the Titans had a bad game last week, but this is a playoff team. This is a team that's going to play better than I think that they did in week 1. But will the Titans be able to upset the Seahawks? That's a different question. If you think so, type Y for yes or type N for no. Next thing that the Seahawks need to do is that they need their D-line to be on, which their D-line was on. They looked fantastic against Indianapolis, but they need to keep this going in order to win this week. The D-line needs to dominate. That is where I'm standing. They have to have as good of a game as they did in Indy, or if not better, in order to have a high chance, I think, at this game. And I'd look at this depth chart right here and I say, Rasheem Green, he gets defensive player of the game, in my opinion. He had 4 tackles, a sack, 2 quarterback hits. Darrell Taylor obviously looked great. Mayowa, Carlos Dunlap. There's a lot of these guys out there that caused disruption all game. But you're going to be going up against a different quarterback. You're going to be going up a guy like Tannehill. And I'm not saying that Tannehill is so much better than Carson Wentz, but I say that I like him more. These stats are a little bit misleading. Carson had a 65.8 completion percentage last week. Tannehill had 60. You can see that Tannehill had 212 yards. Wentz had 251. 2 touchdowns for Wentz, 1 for Tannehill. Tannehill actually threw an interception as well. But I think overall, Tannehill is a better quarterback than Wentz. So to me, we have to think more than just what happened in this week 1 game. This is something that you need to be prepared for. And this video is sponsored by BetUS. Guys, I don't know about you, but if you're going to be betting at all this season or with any sports in general, BetUS is the place to go. They are doing an amazing offer right now. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, you've got to use the promo code Seahawks125. But get this, if you go to their site, you use that promo code and you sign up using our link, you're going to get 125% deposit bonus. Let me just explain to you what that means. If you bet $100, they're going to give you $125 for free. So you've got $125 of free betting money, $225 total. Bet on the Seahawks, bet on baseball, bet on college football, bet on whatever you want. But if you're going to bet, use BetUS. Next up, the key to victories for the Seattle Seahawks is Shane Waldron needs to be out calling Downing. Todd Downing is the new offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. And we talked about the praise that Shane Waldron got this week after calling what I think was a pretty good game. Now, Todd Downing did not get the same response. He actually got a lot of heat. CBS writer John Breach said in an article, "I don't think new offensive coordinator Todd Downing watched any film of how this team played last year, because it's almost as if he decided to ignore everything that they do well." And so when I tell you, like, this was two opposite ends of the spectrum. There were two storylines coming in that these offensive coordinators, these new play callers, how's it going to work? But Shane Waldron took the win on that one for sure. Pete Carroll actually had a lot of good things to say about Shane Waldron, saying, "I'm really, really proud of what he was able to do because he went for it the whole time. And we did it exactly how we've been practicing and how we've been preparing. He handled it with such a cool overall mentality and all, and he and Russ were just cooking." And I have to throw out right here, if you didn't hear this in his press conference, he said him and Russ were just cooking, immediately was like, oh my God, I can't believe I just said that, because he's never said anything about Russ cooking. So anyway, that to me is hilarious. I love Pete Carroll for that. And I think that Waldron is going to win this battle. I think that he's only going to improve over time. I think that it's funny enough, it's kind of ironic. Waldron used a lot of plays from the Titans playbook last year. He doubled or nearly doubled the use of play action in just this week one game than the Seahawks used last year. So I've got him dominating this play calling system. But which offensive coordinator do you think is going to call a better game? Type W for Waldron or type D for Downing? Next up on our key to victories is slowing down Derrick Henry. Now, I know we said that Derrick Henry didn't have a good game last week, but I think he's going to have a good game this week. There's just no way he's going to have two terrible games in a row, and that's going to be okay. And also, I think Henry is going to be utilized early on. They're not going to wait, because this is how the Titans believe that they can win the game. They're going to try to win the game in the run. So it's important that the Seahawks stop him early. If we look at Derrick Henry's stats from last week, like I said, it wasn't a great performance by him. He had 17 carries for 50 yards. He didn't have any touchdowns, and his longest was 19 yards. So this doesn't match up with the Derrick Henry that we know. That's why I'm saying we have to expect that he's going to come out being a little bit more explosive than what we saw in week one. So I think that the Seahawks can absolutely shut him down early on. I think it's important that they do. Lastly, the Seahawks need to utilize Metcalf and Lockett. And yes, that sounds probably like an obvious, but we saw that they were, yes, utilized last week, but not maybe as much as we would have thought. And I think they need to use their advantages. Right now, the Titans don't have a super solid DB depth chart. Like, their secondary doesn't look amazing. They've got Janoris Jenkins, who I actually kind of like, and they've got some guys out there that, yes, are going to maybe improve from what they did in week one. But overall, you've got two guys that are amazing. You've got two, probably the best receiving units in the league. So you've got to use guys like Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf in order to stop this secondary that's pretty weak. To me, those are always the important things when you're looking at a week two matchup. Now, we said we were going to get into my score predictions. Just a reminder, though, this game is going to be on at Sunday at 1:25 p.m. Pacific time, 4:25 p.m. Eastern. Right now, the Seahawks are a 5.5 favorite. The over-under is set at 53. Who do you guys have, though? Do you guys think that the Seahawks are going to win? If so, type in SEA. Or if you think the Titans are going to win this one, type in TEN. My score prediction is that the Seattle Seahawks will come on top with this game. I think that they're going to win 31-24.